28 trophies, gems, crystals, 28 golden relics, 28 platinum relics, 4 bosses, and 50 hours for my very first Retro Achievements mastery. There's nothing like diving into a game from your childhood to break some rose-tinted glasses. Hi, I'm an Above Average Panda, and today I'm going to tell you how I got every achievement from Sony's answer to Mario Party, Crash Bash. After watching Aku and Duka Uka have an argument where Aku states they aren't allowed to fight, which is directly contradicted by Crash Warped, where the two face off similar to the death, the forces of good and evil are split into 2 teams, and well, the good guys are outnumbered 6-2. In order to rectify this, both Dingodile and Tiny Tiger are forced to fight for Aku. Now, personally, I wouldn't trust it. They could easily turn on Aku, but who am I to judge the logic of an almost 30-year-old game? I decided to play as Tiny Tiger and have him champion the side of good for once. Now, I could talk about the minigames, but each room repeats every minigame up until the final floor, so first up, we're going to talk about the bosses. Taken from his home on Wumper Island, the boss of the first floor is the almighty and rotund Papu Papu, who needs every trophy from the first floor, the last of which I got after throwing blocks of concrete into the faces of Cortex, Dingodile, and... who are you? Koala Kong. Got it. Right. I won't lie, I had to look his name up on the wiki. The dude's forgettable as fuck. After collecting those trophies, we were given the chance to ascend to the second floor after fighting our rotund friend. He summons in copies of Crash, who are easily dispatched, and is defeated when we toss those same blocks of concrete into his big fat belly. Though, I'd argue, he defeats himself more than we do, but the game says it's our win, and rewards us with the Mr. Bad Belly achievement for beating him as a good guy. Upon ascending to the second floor, we go straight in for the boss, a creature that hasn't been seen outside of this game, Burminator, who requires 9 trophies, 6 gems, and 3 crystals. This was the game baring its teeth. It sent me back down to the first floor, where Koala Kong showed his displeasure at being forgotten by denying me a gem on more than one occasion. I was at a distinct disadvantage going for the gem, but did it matter? No, because I took it from him. Rillaroo decided to be a bro in another minigame. Instead of taking the win for himself, he executed Kong and went down after him, handing me a crystal. Before heading back up to the second floor, we went back to where I got the last of the first floor's trophies. Only this time, while I was happily going about my business, throwing crates of concrete into the faces of my former allies, the idol sprung to life. Dave. He lobbed nitro crates into the arena, targeting me specifically to give the free an advantage that they surely needed, but it didn't matter. I left that arena with the crystal on my first attempt. I picked up every trophy, gem, and crystal on the first 2 floors, allowing me passage into Burminator's arena. The big bird deployed his mechanical children, who shunted me off of the small arena, defending him with their very lives, and when I did dispatch them, in a bid to make my life harder, he'd shrink the already small piece of ice I was standing on. Bastard! After significantly reducing the population of his mechanical children, I fired back a missile to send him out of the Crash franchise and clear the way onto the 3rd floor, along with obtaining the achievement for besting the beast as a good guy. The 3rd floor is not only home to the Komodo brothers, who are the bosses of this floor, but it's also the home to Ripperoo, my favourite character in the entire franchise. How I wish he was a playable character. Also, Engine lives on this floor, and where Ripperoo downed me once before allowing me to proceed, Engine decided to punish Tiny for switching sides, denying our progress for a good half an hour before we could walk away with the crystal and gem he was protecting with his life. Once we gathered everything we needed to be granted an audience with the brothers, they hid inside of a fortress that fended me off once. On the second run, however, the brothers boarded their tanks and decided to face me in an honourable duel. 2 versus 1! They had the numbers advantage and ended my run decisively, only for the game to place me back at the start of the duel, fully healed, and after a struggle we walked away with a win, an achievement and entry to the penultimate floor. This is where the game showed more of its teeth, baring its fangs more often in the minigames preceding nitrous oxide. The pogo level on the 4th floor completely changed the nature of the game and took far too long to walk away with the crystal. Fortunately, the floor offered me a reprieve when I shunted Cortex off of an iceberg, drowning him for a fun win, and once again, after picking up everything on the 4th floor, we went to Oxide, who, much like in Crash Team Racing, he cheats. How? The first phase has him flying us through an obstacle course that was ruthless, where I'd constantly crash and burn before facing the squid in his domain. He decimates my health bar and sends me out of the arena over and over. Then, once I'd spawn back in and take him down to half health, turrets appear to give him the upper hand. Not that it mattered, because after numerous attempts, I closed out the game by defeating Oxide for the side of good and winning the fight for Aku. I wish this is where we could end the video, and if it weren't for the fact I was ultimately doing this for a video, it would be. We've got every trophy, every gem, and every crystal from the first 4 floors, but we're only halfway through the journey. We have 1 more floor, and after picking up the trophies, gems and crystals, we have 1, technically 2, major hurdles left. The relics. For the gold relics, we have to best each and every minigame twice in a row against the hardest AI the game has to offer, and while the gold relics for the first floors took a good 5 days, we're skipping straight to the platinum relics, which require 3 consecutive wins, and unlike the golden relics, they weren't play tested. It's at this point in my playthrough, I have 30 hours of footage. The remaining 20 are on the platinum relics alone. No longer a battle between good and evil. This was a panda's stubbornness against an unrelenting AI that had a permanent numbers advantage. It started with Cortex in the very first minigame, constantly ending my streaks in Crash Ball. Then Coco proved she had the strength of 10 men in Polar Panic, only for the game to give me a free pass in Pogo Painter because it was gearing up to tri-team me, and not even on a Thursday. I focused more on surviving in the first floor than I ever had before in the playthrough, and despite the difficulty being ramped up, I cleared the first floor's platinum relics. The difficulty continued to ramp up as I climbed each floor, walking away with the platinum relics one after another. I developed an intense hatred of Cortex, Engine, of Dingodile, and of Rillaroo. Then, we reached the final floor. The final set of relics. 6 minigames. Best case scenario, I only have to do them 3 times each. This floor took 15 hours. 10 of which were spent in Swamp Fox, where I was hunted down like a dog by Crash, by Cortex, and by Rillaroo, and when I got out of that hellscape, I was happy, and when I got my final relic from the racing minigame Dante's Peak, I fucking cried. I was free. We had tournaments to do as each character for each minigame and a run through as an evil character, but after that grind, it was a breeze, a victory lap. We mastered Crash Bash, and I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I am an Above Average Panda, and I'll see you next time. I'm never playing this game again.